Good morning students, myself Maushmi Prasad and creator of this channel Digital Generation. This channel is regarding chapter wise preparation for both ICSE and CBSE students. I hope you will get best explanation and knowledge from this channel. Today we will discuss about types of chemical reaction. There are 4 types of chemical reaction, mainly the combination reaction. In combination reaction, 2 or more substances combine together to form a single substance. The 2 substances that combine may be elements, both may be elements to form a compound, or one may be compound and one element to form a compound, or both may be compound to form a new compound. Let us take example. When magnesium, it is an element, combines with an element oxygen, it gives magnesium oxide, it is a compound. Another H2 element, when combines with oxygen gas, it gives water compound. So this magnesium is also element, oxygen also element, it combines together to form a compound, magnesium oxide. Water, in water what happens? Hydrogen is a gas, an element, combines with oxygen element which is in the form of gas to give water which is liquid. So both these are elements combining together to form compound. Now when a compound combines with an element to give a new compound, suppose carbon monoxide is combining with an element oxygen, it gives carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide is a compound, oxygen is a element and carbon dioxide is a compound. All are in the form of gas. Similarly, when sulfur dioxide is a compound which combines with oxygen gas, oxygen is an element, it gives to form a compound sulfur trioxide. Again, when a compound combines with another compound, it also gives a compound. Suppose calcium oxide, when combines with water, calcium oxide is a compound, water is also a compound, together it combines to give a new compound, calcium hydroxide. This calcium hydroxide is used for whitewashing in our houses. This is called slack lime. Now when slack lime is dissolved in water, then it is used for whitewashing. So when calcium hydroxide comes in contact with carbon dioxide in air, it gives calcium carbonate which is white PPT plus water. So you will see that after whitewashing, after 2-3 days of whitewashing, some white shiny layer is formed on the wall, and this is due to formation of calcium carbonate. Now decomposition reaction. Second is decomposition reaction. In decomposition reaction, what happens? Decomposition is just the opposite of combination reaction, and in decomposition reaction, one substance splits to give 2 or more new substances. Decomposition reactions are mainly endothermic and it is carried out by 3 methods: thermal decomposition, decomposition by electricity, and decomposition by light. So now first we will discuss about thermal decomposition. In thermal decomposition, heat is required. So when calcium carbonate is heated, it is endothermic reaction and it is decomposition reaction. It gives calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. This is a very important product. Calcium oxide is used in cement and glass industries. It is a decomposition reaction. Another reaction of thermal decomposition is lead nitrate. When lead nitrate is heated, then lead monoxide, which is yellow in color, plus brown fumes of nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen is evolved. This is also decomposition reaction. Another decomposition reaction is ferrous sulfate. When ferrous sulfate is heated, ferrous sulfate is green in color. It forms a red brown color ferric oxide plus sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. Now ferrous sulfate, it is a heptahydrate sulfate. It is a salt and which contains 7 molecules of water of crystallization. Actually the formula of ferrous sulfate is 7H2O. This is called water of crystallization, and water of crystallization gives color and shape to ferrous sulfate salt. So when 7H2O is present, that is water of crystallization present, then color of ferrous sulfate will be green. But when it is heated, then what happens? Water of crystallization is evaporated, it becomes anhydrous ferrous sulfate, which is white color. And again, when ferrous sulfate, this white color ferrous sulfate is heated, it gives brown color ferric oxide. So this is very important reaction, as color changes has been indicated here, from green color to red brown ferric oxide. Okay. After thermal decomposition comes decomposition by electricity. Now by decomposition of electricity, we know then when electricity is passed through water, what happens? Hydrogen and oxygen are liberated. So here electricity is passed through water. Here water must be acidified. Why acidified? I am telling you. Acidified water contains ions, and ions are good conductors of electricity. So we will take acidified water. When electricity is passed through acidified water, then we will get hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen will be collected on one test tube and oxygen will be collected on another test tube. Hydrogen will be collected at cathode and oxygen will be collected at anode. Cathode means negative electrode. Now the volume of hydrogen collected will always be double the volume of oxygen collected in the test tube. This is because in water the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen is always 2:1. So the volume of hydrogen collected will always be double the volume of oxygen collected in another test tube. And which is oxygen and which is hydrogen, how we will understand? If you bring a burning splinter or burning candle near the mouth of the test tube, inverted test tube of hydrogen or oxygen, which one is hydrogen? It will give pop sound. The pop sound is the indicator of hydrogen gas. Okay, and when we bring the burning candle near the oxygen, then it will help, the oxygen helps in burning more brightly, but it will not give pop sound. So the test tube which gives pop sound is hydrogen, and the test tube which helps in burning is oxygen. So the volume is always 2:1. Now another decomposition reaction by electricity. We know that when electricity is passed through sodium chloride, molten sodium chloride, okay, not aqueous solution, molten sodium chloride, then what happens? Then sodium is collected at cathode and chlorine will be collected at anode. I have told you that during electrolysis of sodium chloride, molten sodium chloride is taken. Why not aqueous solution of sodium chloride? Because if we take aqueous solution of sodium chloride, then we know that sodium is very reactive element and it combines with water to give sodium hydroxide. So instead of sodium metal on the cathode, we will get sodium hydroxide. We will not get pure metal sodium on the cathode. So aqueous solution of sodium chloride is not taken, but molten sodium chloride is taken for electrolysis of sodium chloride, from which pure sodium metal is extracted. This type of reaction is used for extraction of sodium metal. In electrolysis, what happens? The sodium metal is extracted from its chlorides and aluminum metal is also extracted from its oxides by this method. In this, what happens? We take molten sodium chloride in an electrolytic tank and then we pass electricity through it. Then sodium will be collected at cathode and chlorine will be collected at anode. Similarly, from aluminum oxide also we will get pure aluminum metal. When molten aluminum oxide electricity is passed through molten this is called electrolysis. Passing of electricity means electrolysis. So when electrolysis is done to aluminum oxide, then what happens? Aluminum is collected at cathode of the electrolytic tank and oxygen will be collected at the anode. So these are the method of obtaining or extracting metal from their oxides and the chlorides. Now decomposition by light. When silver chloride is taken, silver chloride is white in color. See the reaction. When silver exposed to light, then what happens? This is white color. When it is exposed to light, it gives grayish white silver metal plus greenish yellow chromium gas is liberated. Again, when silver bromide is taken, it is pale yellow in color. It is exposed to sunlight, it gives grayish white silver metal plus reddish brown bromine gas. These types of reactions are used in black and white photography. So these are the decomposition reaction of light. Now what are the uses of decomposition? We have studied about the extraction of metal. So by electrolytic method or decomposition method, by electrolysis we get pure sodium and aluminum metal. This is one of the use of electrolysis by electricity. Another is digestion of food. In digestion of food, what happens? Compound form of starch, protein and fats are decomposed to give similar forms, like starch is decomposed to give monosaccharides like glucose, fructose and galactose. Starch is decomposed to glucose, protein is decomposed to amino acid, and fat is decomposed to fatty acid and glycerol. So decomposition reaction helps in digestion of food. Now the third is displacement reaction. In displacement reaction, the more reactive metal displaces low reactive metal from its compound and takes its place. Now to know which one is more reactive element, we must know the table of the reactivity table. In periodic table, you will learn more about this reactivity. But for this chapter and for this displacement reaction, few examples are given. The most reactive metal is potassium, then sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, then tin, then lead, then comes hydrogen. Below hydrogen is copper, then mercury, then silver, then gold. So most reactive element is potassium, then sodium, then calcium, then magnesium, then aluminium, then zinc, then iron, then tin, then lead, then comes hydrogen, and below hydrogen are found copper, mercury, silver, gold. Okay, so potassium is most reactive element and gold is least reactive element. In this reactivity series, what happens? The more reactive elements displaces the low reactive element. Suppose magnesium oxide is reacting with calcium oxide, so magnesium is less reactive, calcium is more reactive, so calcium is displaced magnesium from its oxides. Similarly, when aluminium and zinc reacts, so aluminium is more reactive, so aluminium will displace zinc from its oxide or any other salts and takes its place. It is more reactive. And reverse cannot happen. Zinc cannot displace aluminum from its oxide. Aluminum cannot replace magnesium. Okay, and hydrogen. The elements which are present above hydrogen can displace hydrogen from its acid and water. The elements which are present below hydrogen cannot replace hydrogen from its acid and water. Okay, and the least reactive is, I told you, gold. Now take some example of displacement reaction. When copper, in this displacement reaction, color is very important and it is the most important indication. When copper sulfate reacts with zinc, now what happens? Copper sulfate is blue color and zinc, you know, grayish white color. So when copper sulfate reacts with zinc, zinc is more reactive than copper, so it displaces copper and forms zinc sulfate, which is colorless. And red brown copper oxide is deposited on the strip of zinc. This happens only because zinc is more reactive than copper. So if the color change is here from blue to colorless. Okay. Now same thing happens when copper sulfate blue color solution reacts with iron. What happens? Iron is more reactive than copper because it is present above copper. So what will form? Ferrous sulfate, which is green color, plus copper will be deposited on top of iron as red brown powder. Okay, and ferrous sulfate is green in color. From blue color it changes to green color. This is also displacement reaction. Now another example of displacement reaction is when silver nitrate reacts with copper. Copper is more reactive than silver. So what happens? This is colorless, silver nitrate is colorless. The copper nitrate plus white, grayish white silver is deposited. So this is also a displacement reaction. Now displacement of hydrogen from acid and water. I have told you that the elements which are present above hydrogen can displace hydrogen from acid and water. Now take example of iron. When iron reacts with acid, iron is more reactive than hydrogen. So it will displace hydrogen and form ferrous chloride plus hydrogen gas will be liberated. Again, when sodium reacts with water, when sodium reacts with water, sodium is highly reactive matter. It reacts vigorously with water to form sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas is liberated. So these are also the displacement reaction of hydrogen. Again, when chlorine gas is passed over potassium iodide. Now iodine is less reactive than chlorine. So chlorine will displace iodine and will form potassium chloride and iodine will be liberated. And now for this to understand which one is more reactive, chlorine and iodine, they comes under halogen group. The first reactive element of halogen group is fluorine, then comes chlorine, okay, then comes bromine, then iodine. So chlorine is more reactive than iodine, so chlorine will displace iodine from its solution. Chlorine can displace bromine also. Fluorine will displace chlorine. In this way the reactivity decreases downward. Till now I have told you the displacement reaction which were taking place in aqueous solution. Now I will tell you displacement reaction in two solids. Two solids can also displace how? When high reactive metal reacts with low reactive metal oxides, it displaces low reactive metal. Suppose copper oxide, okay? Copper oxide reacts with magnesium. Both are solid. No aqueous solution is involved here. So copper oxide reacts with magnesium. Then magnesium is more reactive than copper. So what will be formed? Magnesium oxide will be formed, which is also solid, and copper will be displaced here. So in metallic oxide what we have seen, the more reactive metal displaces less reactive metal from its oxides and forms metallic oxides. Another example is when iron oxide reacts with aluminium. Aluminium is more reactive than iron. So what happens? Aluminium oxide is formed and iron is set free. This iron, in this reaction, enormous amount of heat is liberated, and so the iron obtained in this reaction is in molten state, and this reaction is called thermite reaction. Thermite reaction. Thermite reaction. In this reaction, the iron which is formed in molten state is used for welding. This is also displacement reaction. Now double decomposition reaction. In double decomposition reaction, what happens? Two compounds combines together, exchange their ions and forms two new compounds. This reaction mostly takes place in aqueous solution, in which one of the products separates out as precipitate. Let us take an example. When silver nitrate reacts with sodium chloride. Silver nitrate is a colorless solution. It forms silver chloride, which is white PPT, and sodium nitrate is formed. So white PPT is separated out and new substance is formed. Now another example, barium chloride reacts with copper sulfate. Barium chloride colorless, copper sulfate is blue color solution. In this reaction what happens? I told you about the exchange of ions. How exchange of ion takes place? Barium, the first element, reacts with last one, and third element reacts with second one. So barium sulfate is formed. New substance which are formed of barium sulfate, which is white PPT, and copper chloride is formed. Okay. Another example, when copper sulfate is passed through H2S. When H2S is a gas, hydrogen sulfide gas is passed through copper sulfate solution, which is blue in color. Now what happens? Copper will react with sulfide and forms CuS, copper sulfide, which is black PPT. And hydrogen sulfuric acid is formed. All these are taking place in aqueous solution. Another example is when lead nitrate reacts with potassium iodide. Now what happens? Lead reacts with iodine and forms PbI2, lead iodide, which is yellow color PPT. And this second one, 2NO3, will give plus 2KNO3, potassium nitrate. So all these reactions are taking place as PPT is being formed. The reaction between acid and base to give salt plus water is also a displacement reaction, but in this reaction no PPT is formed. Let us take an example. When sodium hydroxide, which is a very strong base, reacts with hydrogen chloride acid, which is also strong acid, gives what? This will react with this neutral salt sodium chloride plus water. In this no PPT is being formed. In my next video, I will tell you about the oxidation and reduction reaction and its effects in our everyday life. Thank you.